Hey guys, it's Wednesday. I watched Scooby-Doo for this week because Scooby-Doo is a great show. If you have never seen Scooby-Doo before in your life, I kind of feel really bad for you, but I'm gonna break it down right now because it's kind of vital for today's show. So basically, Scooby-Doo's about a gang of teenagers who travel around in this kind of skeezy van and solve mysteries. So you got the leader of the gang, his name's Freddy, or Fred, I guess, whatever, and he's kind of, he's just like the leader. He's a little bit of a dick. He wears ascots. He doesn't really do anything useful, except every episode he says, like, alright gang, let's split up, or some variation of let's split up. And that's when they actually start doing work. Although I always feel like he really only ever says, let's split up, because he wants an opportunity to spend more time with Daphne, who's basically just a sexy ginger who is constantly getting into trouble or messing things up because she's a bit of a bimbo. But you gotta love her. Oh yeah, and she's like super rich. She has a butler who shows up every once in a while. There's Velma, the nerdy chick who's smart and says things like jinkies and basically is the only one who knows what they're doing. And then you have Shaggy and Scooby, who are basically just two dumb stoners who are freaked out by everything, and they're not terribly helpful either, but they usually end up accidentally capturing the villain, so that's their worth in the series, I suppose. When I was a child, I hadn't noticed it as much, but when I watched an episode yesterday, I realized that the show is actually pretty bad. Like, there's like terrible animation, terrible dialogue, terrible mysteries, and then a terrible laugh track to like make it complete. But it's lots of fun. The music's really great. I always loved the theme song. You know we got a mystery to solve, so Scooby-Doo, be ready for your act. Don't hold back. Scooby-Doo, if you pull through, you're gonna have yourself a Scooby snack. That's a fact. I still do. And so, yeah. I'll get to the episode I watched. I watched the episode called Scooby-Doo and a Mummy 2, mainly because I have very distinct memories of watching it with my dad and my sister when I was younger. It has all the quintessential characteristics of a Scooby-Doo episode, if you want to sound pretentious about Scooby-Doo. So basically, the main things of a Scooby-Doo episode are that you meet the villain in like the first minute. In this case, the villain is like an Egyptian-looking dude wearing a fez, and then when you meet the villain, you usually also meet the fake villain, which in this case was just like this dopey professor dude. And the villain and the fake villain usually present them with the mystery. In this case, it's like a mummy that has this curse and it'll like come back to life and turn people into stone. So after that, there's like a little bit of goofing around, and then Freddy says, alright gang, let's split up. And then they split up. Usually it's Freddy, Velma, and Daphne in a group, but in this one, Velma went with Scooby and Shaggy, which is a little bit unusual. And then Scooby and Shaggy always encounter the monster first, probably just because they're such pussies and they're like freaked out that they're going to encounter the monster. So they encounter this mummy who's just going around like, going. Usually, in this general time period, there's this really great chase scene with a montage thing. This episode didn't have that, so I'm thinking that maybe it might have been a bit too early in the series for that, because it's like this 12th episode of the first season. But yeah, usually they have that, and they have this really great, like, weird, funky music track playing in the background. And then Scooby and Shaggy accidentally encounter the villain's lair. That happens every episode too. And then in the villain's lair, they find out basically how the villain's been doing everything, and they also encounter the fake villain. So at this point, like halfway through the episode, you already have to know who the villain is. Then there's like a little bit more of a chain of events in which the gang reunites, and they come up with a plan to capture the villain. Daphne usually messes it up, because Scooby and or Shaggy somehow captures them anyways. and then they like pull off the mask or do whatever they have to do, and they find out it's the villain, and they're all like, oh! There's like this shocking revelation, and then they sum up the mystery, and for those who somehow didn't catch it when they were watching it, and then in later episodes, the villain usually says like, and I would have gotten away with it too if it weren't for those meddling kids. Yeah, that's basically all that ever happens in an episode of Scooby-Doo. So basically, Scooby-Doo's a great show, I think. I love it. It's mainly a nostalgia reason, I think, for me at this point. But I feel like I would still love it either way. I would give it like 4.5 stars, maybe 5 if I'm feeling particularly nostalgic. I feel like anybody would like that show if they went into it with the right mindset. You know, you kind of have to be willing to accept that it's not a very good show and it's cheesy, and you know, it's just fun to watch. Okay, bye everyone.